Good morning, everyone, and welcome once again to Wisely Wacky Wednesday. It's the second Wednesday of the month, and we are back again with Ajjicha Goshti, Wise Grandma Tales. And today, I've got one of my favorite books to share with you, and it has a funny name. It has a name, it could have been worse. Funny, isn't it? It's written by A.H. Benjamin and the beautiful illustrations are by Tim Warnes. Let's see what they have to say. But before that, let me give you a background. Long, long ago, or maybe not so long ago, where all stories begin, there lived a mousy mouse in a village. Now he had school holidays, so he decided to visit his town cousin Mickey Mouse, the celebrity mouse. Now school holidays were over, so Mousy Mouse had to return back to his village. But he couldn't take the MRT or the bus or the Gojek or the Grab or the Uber. He couldn't take a bicycle or a scooter, electric or normal. He could only scurry on his little four legs back home. So one day, he woke up early, said bye to Mickey Mouse, and decided to scurry back home. Let's see what happens. Mouse was on his way back home after visiting his town cousin. Now he wanted to save time. So like all of you, he decided to take a shortcut on the rose bush. But Mousy was unmindful. Who was behind Mousy? Yes, you guessed it right. The mean kitty cat. As Mousy was scurrying in a hurry on the rose bush, he lost his balance and fell to the ground. Whoosh! Ouch! Said the mouse. This isn't my lucky day because lots of thorns has pricked his little tail. But what Mouse had not seen, but you and I can see that when Mouse fell, so did the cat who wanted to make a mouse burger for breakfast that day. When she fell, she was hurt with so many thorns and couldn't eat a mousy mouse for breakfast that day. So, it could have been worse. Anyway, Mousy picked himself up and carried on the way. He came to open field, a nice, beautiful green field, and was scurrying across it when? Now what do we see here? A shadow. Can you guess who is following Mousy Mouse? It is the kite, the mean kite, and she wants to make Mousy her prey. As our little Mousy was scurrying across the field, he was unmindful of this hole in the ground, and crash! He fell in a hole and disappeared completely. Why do things always go wrong for me? Grumbled Mouse. But what Mousy hadn't seen, that the kite was flying at full speed, stooping down to pick up Mousy, had come to a sudden break when he fell into the hole and was all lying tumbled on the meadow there. So for Mousy Mouse, it could have been worse. Anyway, Mouse scrambled out of the hole and was off again. Who is following Mousy Mouse? Slithering snake. And he said, wow, it's going to be a nice mouse breakfast today. But our little mouse was unmindful. He hadn't seen the snake. I think I'll take some rest, he said. And Mousy found a nice comfy space and a spot. Now he decided to sit on that comfy spot when, ouch! He said. He sat on a thistle and shot into the air. Everything happens to me, wailed Mouse as he pulled some prickles out of his bottom. Mind you, thistle prickles can be very bad. But what Mousy hadn't seen was that when Mousy was sitting on his comfy spot, Snake had opened his mouth wide to snap. And instead of snapping on Mousy Mouse, he snapped on the thistle. So there were many more prickles in his slithering tongue. Poor Snakey. But for our Mousy Mouse, it could have been worse. Anyway, Mouse walked down the hill until he reached a stream. He began to cross it by stepping on stones. Skippy, skippy, skippy on the stone. But river stones are slippery. What Mousy hadn't seen was a piranha with an open mouth and sharp teeth waiting to mince Mousy today. And as he was going, stepping on the stone, he slipped. Splash! He landed in the cold water. I'll catch my death of cold, complained Mouse. But what our Mousy hadn't seen, that when he slipped, he kicked a twig, and the twig became a wedge in the mouth of the piranha. The piranha couldn't snap his mouth, so Mousy had been saved. So for our Mouse, it could have been a lot worse. Anyway, Mouse paddled to the edge of the stream and climbed out of the water. Shaking himself dry, he was just about to scramble down a steep bank. What our Mousy hadn't seen, but you and I can see, is the cunning fox and a hornet's nest. Our Mousy was in a lot of hurry. Whee! He lost his footing and skidded right to the bottom. I'll be black and blue all over, cried Mouse. But what our Mousy hadn't seen, that when he skidded down the bank, so did the fox, and he broke the hornet's nest, so all the bees chased the wicked fox away. But for our Mousy Mouse, it could have been worse. Anyway, Mouse staggered to his feet and ran all the way home. He was waiting to hug his mom. But what he hadn't seen was this house cat Tom hiding in the bushes, waiting. Let that little juicy mouse come. I'll have him for my breakfast today, he said. Mousy, unmindful, entered his house, little hole, hugged his mom. His mom bathed him and gave him arnica to heal his bruises and bumps, the homeopathic medicine, the sweet little one. But Mousy was in a nasty, complaining mood. He said, "It's been a terrible day, Mom," he said. As she bathed his cuts and bruises, I fell into a hole. I got wet in the river. And he went on and on and on. By the time the kitty cat had already come to the door of his hole, But his mom was wise. And as she nurtured him, she said, "Never mind, Sonny. It could have been much worse." Snap! What's that? Well, that's the mouse trap which caught the nose of the house cat Tom, so he couldn't make breakfast of a mousy mouse. So, little friends, next time when you fall or you fail, next time it pains or hurts, or it is not your day and you're feeling terrible, just straighten your shoulders, pin up a smile, and remind yourself it could have been lot worse today. Thank you, and waiting to meet all of you on next second Wednesday with more wise tales. Thank you.